Hey everybody, Dave Guerra here, and this is This Vet Cooks. That's right, we're going to do something a little different today. Let's see how it works out, and then we'll go from there. So come on, I know we're overdue for a video, so let's make it happen. All right, so I'm Dave Guerra, This Vet Cooks, former 11 Bravo, and I welcome you again to another action-packed episode. And as I said at the top, we're going to try something different. We're going to do something different. So let's see how that works out. Probably we'll stick to it every once in a while. We'll do it every once in a while. We won't stick to it. We still have plenty of recipes coming up with the Operation Vittles Cookbook. So don't worry. We're going to be coming back on that on the next episode. Just took a little spring break. And during that spring break, here's the deal. Here's what today's recipe is all about. During that little spring break that I took, came across some other recipes, kind of planning ahead, and I saw this one. It's like, hey, wait a minute. This one is definitely going to work. This is a great idea. It's a fantastic idea. It's a quick idea. And what it is ravioli lasagna. Ravioli lasagna. That's today's recipe. So let's dive in. Let's see what we can do with this. So it's ravioli, it's lasagna, it's ravioli lasagna. That's what we're having. It's fun, it's quick, it's easy. That's the beauty of this. It's really easy. And let's go over the ingredients and let's begin from there. I mean, obviously the first thing you're going to need is not the canned ravioli. You're going to need a packaged ravioli, just something out there that has the they're just plain ravioli, nothing else to it. And I use the cheese ones because we're going to make a meat sauce with this. So we have the cheese ravioli, and then we're going to need, and what I've done here, I've kind of gone ahead. So yes, you can get a jar of sauce, that ragu sauce and meat, and throw in some meat ground, cook up some ground beef. But I went ahead and made some homemade one. And it's real simple. Ground beef. I did a ground beef and ground pork, so kind of give that little extra pizzazz to it, a little kick to it. Did some tomato sauce, some diced tomatoes, and some tomato paste. And the tomato paste, I kind of saved it to the end. I didn't want the sauce to be too watery. I wanted it to be a little thicker, but I saved it to the end, and that way it acted more of a thickener if I had too much water. But I did need it eventually. Salt and pepper to taste, and then of course your oregano and your garlic powder and your onion powder and onions and finely chopped up minced up garlic, onion, whatever works for you. You should by now have your own type of bolognese, I guess, sauce, meat sauce, tomato meat sauce. You should already have a go-to sauce. If you don't have one by now, well, guess what? We're going to do a show for that later on down the road. But this is a great little one, and if you're in the dorms, you're in the barracks, and you want to cook there, again, follow your local policy, then obviously it would be easier to go ahead and buy that already pre-made jar of sauce. So let's get to putting it together. Once the sauce is put together, let it cool down just a wee bit, just enough so you can handle it. You don't want it boiling all the way through, just so you can handle it. All right, so here we go. So we've got the sauce. We've got a lasagna pan right there, and the process is pretty simple. We go ahead and line the bottom of the pan with some of the sauce, and there it goes. And you can see it's not too watery, not too thin, not too thick either. It spoons well. You see it spreads out nicely, evenly. And yes, it's got a lot of meat in it, so that's the way. If you don't like meat, that's fine. There's nothing that says you have to have it. But go ahead and I prefer the meat. So there we go. All right, now we're taking the cheese ravioli out of the bag and lining them up. Now, of course, I could have gone a little tighter on the noodles here as I'm laying them down, or the ravioli as I'm laying them down. I could have gone just a wee bit tighter, and you see I kind of already do, but I think I might have been able to squeeze just another one in there, just based on what's going on. So here we go. We have a row of 6, and then we continue with that row. And you see, there we go, just filling it in. So it's going to be 4 rows of 6, so about 24 raviolis on the first go around here, technically the first layer. But there it is. It's lasagna. It's got the cheese in between, right? It's got the noodles. It's got the Well, it's got the ravioli, therefore it becomes a noodle, and there's that meat sauce down below. Now, the noodles, the raviolis, in this case, they were frozen. I had just taken them out. Didn't want them to thaw out. I wanted them to cook, and because I really wanted them to cook, I needed them to be frozen because that meant more time in the oven, so it really gets down there and really bakes everything. The only downside is because it spends more time on the oven, the cheese on top, well, I won't give it away. You'll see it here at the end. Alrighty, so there we go, all lined up, all 24 of the first set of noodles, or for the first row or layer of noodles, or raviolis. Next, you see I start spooning in the ricotta, and I kind of lay it out, because the ricotta is a wet cheese, I kind of lay it out the way I would lay it out if there was a actual lasagna pasta there, right, kind of not spread out. Now, some people mix that ricotta into their sauce. Some people want to spread it out. It's all to taste. So don't forget that. It's all to taste. And there we go. And it's all going in. And so I don't add as many, but I do spoon it out. I'm using a teaspoon here, folks, and I just kind of half a teaspoon to a teaspoon. It kind of just depends on how it scoops out. And next, we're going to go ahead and throw down some mozzarella, shredded mozzarella. And there it goes. And you see what's going on there. On top of the cheese, on top of the ravioli, which already has the cheese in it. So this is just like, maybe 3-4 cheeses. I think the ravioli had 2 cheeses in it. And then there's the ricotta and the mozzarella on top. So yeah, a lot of cheese. It's really cheesy, but then you got the tomato sauce. You've got the meat. So this all works out. And again, I'm not trying to cover it, but I am trying to give it a good base. All right, now we're ready to proceed with the beginning or topping of the first layer or the beginning of the second layer. Depends on how you look at it. There we go. Fix the camera angle there a little bit. And you see the monitor, just the camera, I can't seem to tighten it down, but it starts to fall down. Eventually it does stop here. There we go. Now I'm adding. Now I'm not spreading. I'm not with the bottom of the spoon. Now I am spreading as I go, as I pour. And look at that. Looks awesome. Simply awesome. All right, there. I did a little back spoon there action. And of course, once we lay it on, then I can start using the back spoon a little bit better because I've created a base, and then that way I'm not moving the cheese around and creating ball spots with the cheese, but I am able to move the sauce a little bit easier. And I made quite a bit of sauce. I do believe we had extra sauce left over, but I dumped it at the very end. There we go. And now we begin layer number 2, and we repeat the whole process. So I'm going to fast forward here, let you all see that. Okay, we're back. And you saw, I mean, that went really fast. Well, again, through the modern magic of cinematography and camera effects and CGI and everything else you want to talk about. Anyway, so I'm stopping here and I'm slowing it back down. And as you can see here, now I'm starting to get to the bottom. So yes, I did end up using everything. So let's see there. So you see, we did do 2 layers of the ravioli, the cheese ravioli, and the ricotta and the mozzarella and the meat sauce on top of that. And if you look over there to the right of your screen, you see that we're reaching the bottom. So we're scraping there. But it looks like we had just enough. Now, folks, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I took this out to the scale. And once it was all said and done, I took it to the scale and I carried it, weighed myself. Now, I'm not going to tell you what it read there. Then I put the tray, the lasagna or the ravioli lasagna tray, I put it down and stepped back on it. I'm not kidding, folks. Oh, look at that. More mozzarella. Another package of mozzarella. I'm not kidding. It was a 10-pound difference. 10 pounds of ravioli lasagna. There we go. That's it. That took care of that. No, that was not a new bag. That was an open bag. I think I just opened it for the other one. And there it is. So listen, hey, before we go any further, well, you know what? Before we go any further, let's gaze upon this finished dish here just before it goes into the oven. And I want to take a moment to thank everybody that follows along, that visits and views us over there on the YouTube page or on their YouTube channel. Everybody that follows and likes and shares and talks about stuff over on our Twitter page. Definitely great stuff there. And on our Instagram. So again, let's see, Facebook.com/thisvetcooks. Follow us there. Check us out there. Videos there as well. Our YouTube page, it's like a long thing, but there's a link everywhere else. On our Twitter page, twitter.com/thisvetcooks. Thisvetcooks is all one word. And our Instagram page, great stuff there as well. Instagram.com/thisvetcooks. Thisvetcooks is all one word. Let's see what else we got. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, our website, This Vet Cooks, and we have all of the past shows there. So by all means, stop by, take a look. And one other thing, be sure if you ever need the make the call, you know, because there come those times when we need to make the call, because you never know, and especially veterans. You know, I'm a veteran. We all know that times can be difficult sometimes. Sometimes people just don't understand what we're going through. They don't understand. You know, they just don't get us because we've done something that most people will never, ever do in their lives. Some will consider it. Kudos to them. Some will talk about it, but very few will act on it. And we were the few. And, you know, they spent all that time, energy, and effort to build us up. They spent very little time and energy to bring us back to civilian life. So whatever we did, you know, sometimes we just need someone to talk to. And of course, hey, there's always that veterans crisis line. Make the call. It's real easy. 1-800-273-8255. And veterans, press the number 1 to take you right to somebody who can address what's going on, talk to you if they need to talk to you or you need to talk to them. But if there's something specialized and they can assist, they know who forward you to. They're not going to mess around. They're going to send you to where you need to go. But hey, it all starts with making that call. So, you know, you've got, you don't need anybody's permission. And if you do, well, you got it. You have my permission to make the call. So make the call. That's really all it is. Veterans Crisis Line, 1-800-273-8255. Make it. Don't delay. Don't hesitate. Don't pull any punches. Just make it happen. All right, next. 375 degrees in the oven for about 40 minutes. And don't forget, remember, the noodles were frozen. The raviolis were still frozen. At some point, I had to pry them apart with a butter knife. But hey, they got them there. So you definitely want to give them time so they get in there and cook as well. I mean, they're already cooked. Technically, they are already cooked. But you definitely want that cheese to not have the little ice crystals in it. You want nice, hot, sticky cheese all through the thing. And so here it is, and this is what it looked like. And like I said, because I took a little longer in the oven because I wanted that deep cook, you see kind of the cheese cooked up, and you see some of the juices move up to the top. And I opted not to drain the meat after it cooked because you see it there. But look, it is still bubbling up, and that's what I'm pointing to. I just saw it. There it is. It's still bubbling up. Yeah, you also see the reflection of the fan, the ceiling fan right there in the kitchen, but it's still boiling and it's still hot. So be careful. You want to let that rest. You don't want to let it come to temperature, but you want to let it rest. And when it comes time to cut it and make it happen, well, let's take a look. Let's see how we got this. Everybody's around the table. Everybody wants a peek at this. And there it is. We dive in. Look at that. 2 spatula and a spoon, and it all comes out. Now, don't forget, it's squared, so, you know, you cut into another square of the ravioli. But there's the ravioli, the 2 layers right there. That stuff looks awesome. That stuff looks fantastic. And, of course, you know, there it is, nice and juicy, delicious, ooey gooey with the cheese. And, folks, that thing is awesome. Look at that. I'm Dave Guerra, and guess what? This Vet Cooks.